Let's bring in my Sky News colleague, former Labor Minister Graham Richardson. Richo, that committee, they came to their senses and allowed Tony Abbott his time to provide his view on The Voice, whether you agree with the former Prime Minister or not. A former PM, if they want to appear before a parliamentary committee, should be afforded the right to do that. It's not a big ask.
No, it's not, and it staggers me that this was ever in doubt. If Tony Abbott wants to put his point of view, then I think there's a hell of a lot of Australians want to hear it. I'm one of them. I'm always interested in what Tony has to say. Doesn't mean I have to agree with him, but I'm always interested, and I think a lot of Australians are. And you can't clamp down on free speech in this country. Not going to work.
Yes, and so he, along with Father Frank Brennan, were those who raised the concerns about the proposal. I'm not sure where Father Frank lands in terms of whether he'll, argue against it, even if they don't make the changes he's suggesting. But then forceful advocates like Noel Pearson appeared today as well. And Noel Pearson, again, agree with him or not, but that is one compelling leader in the Indigenous community.
Oh, he is a powerful voice, and everything he does he's passionate about, which is what I really like about Noel Pearson. He's not a friend of mine because I don't know him, but I certainly am an admirer, and nothing he did today lessened that admiration.
On to a couple of other stories, Andrew Clennell reporting this exclusive information about these markups under the NDIS. Really rip-offs is the only way to put it, and you can see why Bill Shorten and the government are wanting to try and rein in some of the problems here, because everyone wants it to be sustainable. Certainly both sides of politics want it to be sustainable, but when you're talking about a lightweight aluminium shower chair, normally retailing at $169, one company selling it for $1,150.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a streak in some humans which leads them to a form of larceny and fraud, a combination of both, and that's what this is. I think it's disgraceful that people would seek to take advantage of it. It disturbs me that there are people who would, because if ever I saw a scheme that deserved success, it's this one. This is a scheme whose time has come, and those who try to delay it or profit from it should be named and shamed.
The infrastructure review being undertaken by the government, the opposition saying that it's just going to see a whole heap of infrastructure cut, but Catherine King, the infrastructure minister, says it's a review, and they've got to make sure that it is all going to be adding to productivity in this country. Seems like a normal thing for a government to do, even if it does mean some projects committed to by their predecessors are scrapped.
Well, it's a process that the opposition should be supporting. They don't have to support the results, each result that is produced, but to not support the process is pretty silly. That's just being an opposition for an opposition's sake. And you would have thought that they'd be a bit better than that. I have faith in Peter Dutton being not only a good bloke, but a good politician, and I hope he sees the wisdom of this and backs away.
Something I've discussed with Michael Kroger a bit in the last little while. What are your thoughts about Peter Dutton's challenge for this budget in reply next week? It's the opposition leader who gives the budget in reply, not the shadow treasurer, as our viewers would know. And to me, it seems a very important moment for Peter Dutton, as he has been struggling in the polls and trying to sort of get his party to get some momentum. That is a key moment for him to seize.
Yeah, it's a key moment, but it's also a really difficult one. This has been a pretty well-received budget. I mean, you're not seeing headlines saying, what a shocker. You're not seeing headlines saying, bring down Albo and let's hang the Treasury. I mean, that's just not happening. It's been a well-received budget, and yet to make a name for himself, he's got to find some holes in it. Now, there aren't any big holes, but you can usually find something that they haven't done that's not too hard, because you can't do everything. So if I was Peter, I'd be finding a few of the more spectacular examples of what they haven't done, and I'd be running with that, because it's very hard to criticise what they have actually done.
And finally, the Prime Minister off to the coronation of King Charles, and the old left-wing warrior of the Labor Party, the Republican, but he's handled himself well with his commitments around the farewell of the Queen, Her Majesty, and now heading to the coronation, Richard.
Well, with the notable exception of Bill Hayden a few years back, we are all Republicans in the Labor Party. All of us believe in it. So I think it's the right thing for Albo to do, to go and attend the coronation, but he's not going to jettison his views. They'll remain his views, as they'll remain the views of everyone in the Labor Party, and I think most Labor voters.
Graham Richardson, great to see you as always. We'll see you next week.